What's going on, guys? Jake Adams from Reef Builders here, and I am characteristically cloudy Nuremberg, Germany for the biggest pet event in the world, InterZoo 2018. This show is so big that they can only have it every 2 years. I've actually spent better part of the last 4 or 5 days walking around these halls, trying to find all the cool stuff, all the cool gear. So I just want to take you along for a video to show you some of the newest stuff that caught my attention, maybe a few fish and displays along the way. So let's go inside and see what this show is all about. So this is the Reef bot by Reef Kinetics, and you know, we've seen this device for a couple years now, but it really has reached a state of maturation and readiness that they've really started to ship these all over the world. And as you can see, instead of using a dosing pump, it's got basically a syringe pump to very accurately dose all the reagents into the test vial. So these are 8 different reagent vials, and you can see they each have a magnetic stirrer in the bottom. I think this is a rinsing vial right here, and this is the actual test where it's performed. So you can see it's got a couple of LEDs, it has a photo sensor, and down here is a carriage with a magnetic spinning component to make sure these reagents stay very, very well mixed, and also for mixing the test while it goes on. So right now the Reef bot is solely a water testing machine. It'll cost, I believe, about $800 US at retail, and it'll test any kind of test you want as long as it uses liquid reagents until you fill up all the vials. So alkalinity should only take 1, and then calcium and magnesium probably 2 each at the minimum, and then you still have room for phosphate and or nitrate. So, and in the future, they're actually working on this dosing pump. So all your results from the Reef bot are actually reported online, and you're able to actually instruct it to do any test that you want. But in the near future, they're going to link up this high performance dosing pump that's going to allow you to not only monitor with the Reef bot, but control certain parameters with automatic dosing through this machine. So really looking forward to actually testing one of these for myself. Probably one of my favorite products here at InterZoo. Okay, so I've made it over to the Hydor booth, and these guys know how to have a very classy stand. And so new for the show is a couple years ago, we got a first look at their LED fixture, the Aqua LRM, I believe. That's the Reef version. And these are super duper sleek. Air intake on the top, and new for 2018 is the smaller version. So this there's a freshwater version, the LRF, and a saltwater version, the LRS, both with different spectra. As you can see, it's basically a spotlight in a fixture form factor. Real slim, really, really pretty. I can't overstate how elegant this light looks in either in black, the single intake. I really like the asymmetrical placement right there off to the side, or in white. This one actually has kind of a grayish top. So these are going to be some really cool, exciting lights for the aquarium hobby, whether you have a freshwater tank or a saltwater tank, and just a great looking light, whether you have it mounted or hanging, as you can see, on the tanks in the back. So one of the aquarium products that is totally hot right now are the aquarium filter rolls, automatic filter rolls. So the feeling roller mat is a device that was introduced a couple of InterZoos ago, so I want to say about 4 years. And when it dropped, this was actually the smallest and actually most affordable filter roll available on the aquarium market. But as you see, this is quite a large enclosure, so you need a very large sum to even consider using something like this. So for this year, Feeling has introduced the new roller mat nano, I believe it's called, and it's got a much smaller form factor, and you see it kind of freestanding, so you still need a good amount of room inside your tank to be able to use it. But water flow goes right there in between the 2 filter rolls. Float switch will automatically advance it, and there's a standing base as well as a hanging bracket, so you can hang it on the side of tanks and sumps if you need it. So pretty cool. I think I was quoted a price of $199, so could be euros, could be dollars, but it's going to be about half the price of the first affordable filter roll of Feeling roller mat. So that's the Feeling roller mat nano. So a couple new cool things from Tunze. Definitely at the top of that list is the new macro algae reactor. And just like everything that Tunze does, it's not quite the same as everybody else. So they're using a familiar body that they use also in things like their calcium reactor. So a nice heavy duty tube. We got wing nut flange in the top for easy access. But in the base here, there's a nozzle that's actually spinning the water and actually spinning the chetomorpha in a cylindrical fashion. So really, really cool execution on this thing. And also they're using their new higher powered waterproof LED strip light right on the side of the container, which is cool because together with the spinning motion, you're basically exposing the algae, as much of the algae to light from every different angle. So there's two models. There's the 3181, and I think it's gonna be like 300 bucks, and the 3182 should be like 500 or more. That comes with the light, that comes with the pump, and that comes with some super high quality silicone tubing. And another thing that Tunze has actually gotten better at in recent years is their protein skimmer. So here's my trusty Tunze 9410, and I can't overstate how effective this protein skimmer is. I never have to set mine. It's just quiet, it's efficient, and it's controllable. Really, really love this thing. But if you're looking for something a little bit bigger, there's a new DOC skimmer 9460. Now this thing is a short, squat beast, and you can see it's just totally filled with foam. Really, really cool protein skimmer design, and it uses their Tunze Silence aerofoamer. So this is actually an AC pump, not controllable, but it cranks something like 5,000 liters of air per hour. So it's actually kind of neat to see such a huge protein skimmer being powered by a single needle wheel pump. I believe this thing is rated for up to 1,500 gallons, and should it have an expected retail cost of around $2,000. Now it might not have all the bells and whistles of some of the higher engineered, the more engineered and highly technical protein skimmers that we see from Germany, but it's got a very sophisticated moist silencer design, and just like their other protein skimmers, it's really an automatic protein skimmer that should work pretty much all the time. So really cool to see this one. So Triton really rocked the reef aquarium world when they introduced ICP testing for a very precise and accurate measurement of inorganic elements. And this year for InterZoo, they're really shaking things up with a brand new test called N-DOC, which focuses on dissolved organic carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus. And the funny thing is, it's really hard to anticipate how this is going to affect our understanding of reef aquarium chemistry. But once we do, there's going to be several different additives to add phosphorus, nitrogen, and phosphorus and nitrogen and carbon to our aquariums in a variety of different ways. So there's a few different speed carbons, slow, medium, and fast, depending on what your tank is doing. So we still don't really know that much about how this works and really what it's going to unlock for us in the reef aquarium world. But the N-DOC is going to be a new organic test to complement the original ICP OES test, and there's also going to be a combined test that's really going to give you a huge spread of chemical analysis for our reef aquarium. So can't wait to try those out. I can't tell you how excited I am to get to the Red Sea booth and show you off some of their new gear. And there's no one here right now, I believe, because it's lunchtime, so I have the entire place to myself to really dive in and show you the new gear from Red Sea. So these are brand new products and product categories from this big company in the reef aquarium world, and these are all using the same Reef Connect app. And as you can see, there's a Reef Wave water pump, Reef LED LED, and the Reef Dose dosing pump. So let's take a closer look at each one of those. As you can see, they each have their own controls within the Reef Connect app. There's a quick overview of some of the main features assigned to the technology, and they have a kind of an improved controller design here with a lot of indicator LEDs, which I really, really love. Super quiet, and loves being able to cycle through the different modes right on the controller. And as you'll see, it's actually a max spec approved licensed gyre pump style. So it's got the turbine technology, it's got extra quiet, really, really cool, and actually should be really affordable. I don't remember the price offhand, but I want to say it was like $250, $300 range. And I think that it's called the Reef Wave 20 and the Reef Wave 40. So that's their new pump. There's the Reef LED, which really kind of a surprise to see this coming from Red Sea. It's a multi-chip style LED pendant, and it's a 90 watts, but 90% of that power is going to the blues. So even when you turn all the levels up all the way, it's actually still a nice, clean, crisp, bluish light. Definitely intended for reef tanks. You see, you've got the 90 watts, app operated, easy setup. And here you can get a quick look at the app screen. So like I said, I think there's 80 watts of blue, 10 watts of white, and then there's just 2 small LEDs for the moonlight. Very interesting. You know, let's see how white it can get, just because that's what the phone will do. There we go. How does that work? How does that work? Oh yeah, so now it's a lot brighter white, you can see. So that's the Reef LED. I want to say 90 watts and $350. But really, one of the big stars of the show is the Reef DOC. So this is going to be a wirelessly controlled, cloud programmed dosing pump, and it'll run 4 different channels with nice see-through heads right there, an activation button for priming them. There we go. And you can feel it. It's really tight. Instead of using stepper motors, it uses servo motors for drop-wise precision of all the different elements. And since it's wirelessly controllable, you don't need to have any kind of master-slave relationship. So if you want to add 4 channels, the price on this thing is just totally incredible. So just around $300. And here you can kind of get a look at kind of the status screen for the 4 different channels of the Reef DOC. So really exciting product. Definitely one of the standouts of the show. And with the Red Sea behind it, we have no doubt this is going to be quite a success when it hits the market. So this is the Reef connected products from Red Sea, including the Reef DOC dosing pump, Reef LED LED light, and the Reef Wave gyre style pump. So this really interesting light here in the Aqua booth is got some really interesting features to it. Each of these modules is actually separated for a reason, and they have a gangster lane because they actually move, and as you can see, they're actually tracking the light from side to side across the tank. And there's also a really nice full-length strip light on both sides of this fixture, once again to fill in the light inside the tank. So the center part is where your power supply is going to be, and the other side units are the units that are the modules that move back and forth. A ton of different color, even some infrared in there, which I'm not sure how I feel about, but they have the UV and a full spectrum and rainbow of LEDs to track on the tank. So this really interesting concept light is actually available for sale. I think this version with the 2 modules is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,200 euros. And yeah, really cool to see some innovation in the lighting space. And this is the Sun Motion LED light. So I've been walking InterZoo for quite a while, and I came up across a good friend, George Farmer. He is basically the my freshwater counterpart. How's it going, George?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good to see you. You got your beer. I got my beer.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. And so George actually set up these beautiful tanks here at Tropica together with your friend Yuri's. And so he's going to tell us a little bit about them and just kind of what it takes to do that.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we set these up 3 months ago, Yuri's and I, in Denmark, the HQ of Tropica. And we grew them in over the last 3 months and transported them here so they're nice and mature, ready for the show. This is our medium category, large tank. So the majority of plants in here you'll find are a medium category. So Tropica have advanced, medium and easy categories of plants. So medium means that they benefit from CO2 and more light, but they don't necessarily need it.
You know, for all the saltwater viewers, just tell them what's involved. What are some of the things that they want to know, and how can they set up a tank like this?
Yeah, sure. So easy category, so all easy plants. They don't need CO2 injection or high levels of lighting. So all super easy, and it just shows you can create something quite beautiful even with easy plants.
So you started this 3 months ago.
3 months ago. The aquascaping process is all about starting off with the hardscape, so the rocks and the wood, the substrate, and then we use obviously fresh Tropica plants, which are super healthy. And we plant really heavily from day one, and that gives the best chance against algae. A mixture of in vitro and potted, but all super healthy, obviously, direct from the nursery. And as you can see, the results speak for themselves. In vitro is tissue culture, so the plants are grown from tiny babies, basically, in a nutrient-rich solution. Tropica have a patented solution, which is like a liquid, and they're really good value because you get so much quantity of plants. They're super small, you get loads of them. So actually, they represent great value for money.
So it's like coral propagation, but on a much more intensive level. Very cool. So my boy George here has got a very productive YouTube channel. If you want to learn a little bit more about plants, make sure to check out his channel. Link will be in the description. Saltwater is awesome, but there's still a lot we can learn from each other, right, George?
Indeed.
Awesome.
Keep on scaping.
Keep on scaping. So this is probably one of the most exciting pump products that we've seen here at InterZoo. This is the new Sicce Extreme SDC. So the Extreme was Sicce's first controllable pump of any kind, a nice, small, powerful 12-watt propeller pump. But that pump was only controllable with an onboard controller. But now with the SDC functions, it actually has a wireless connectivity, just like all the other SDC pumps. And it's also programmable on the cloud, so you'll be able to fine-tune these pumps from anywhere in the world. And as an added bonus, this is really interesting, they have a built-in temperature sensor, so you'll actually be able to get temperature from several different parts of your tank, wherever you have any of Sicce's newer SDC pumps. So it was just 2 years ago that Sicce introduced their first wireless controllable Sicce Synchra SDC water pumps, and they were first released in these larger models, and so it's actually really exciting to see them now launch the Sicce SDC 6.0, which is going to be a lot more reasonable sized water pump for the average reef tank. So it has maximum power of 40 watts up to 5,500 liters per hour, but for an average tank where 500 gallons per hour is enough, you'll be able to tune this sucker down to just 10 watts. So the Sicce Synchra SDC 6.0 is going to be one of the smartest medium-sized controllable water pump that you can get for the market. So this is not a Sicce product per se, but it's basically a generic protein skimmer body to demonstrate the features and capability of their smart PSK pumps. So this is a PSK SDC water pump. Like all the new SDC products, it has wireless control, cloud programming, that built-in temperature sensor, but just the sheer volume of air that this thing is pumping out with just one pump is really, really impressive. The entire body is filled with foam. I don't think there's any waste in this water for it to skim anyway, so it's just plain salt water. But really, really cool example of what's going to be possible using the Sicce Synchra SDC water pumps on the protein skimmers here in the near future. So a real unexpected surprise from Elos here at the show is an implementation of their quiet drain overflow technology. So up till date, if you wanted the quietest and slimmest overflow possible, you actually had to get an entire complete Elos aquarium. But now with the quiet drain external, you can get the best features of this very silent drain, but in an external form factor. And one thing that they've done, it's a really nice touch from Elos, there's actually a surgical steel shell here to hide all the plumbing coming down from this particular overflow. So I suppose that they're going to have some kind of template available so you can get that really, really precise drill holes for connecting the outer part and the inner part. And this is not actually a support, it's just a cover for both sides. You got your return flow coming in on the side. You got some subsurface intakes right here, surface skimming here at the top, and again the kind of the key dial here that they use for making sure that it can take a lot of water flow while still remaining really, really silent. So it's not going to be the cheapest of the the slim external overflows, but if you want something super swanky, really couldn't do much better than this quiet drain external from Elos. So behind me you see the D&D, Nios, Ecotech Marine, Aqua Illumination booth, and I'm not going to give a thorough walkthrough of this booth and some of the really cool gear that they had at InterZoo, because I actually did a separate video diving into the new Opus aquarium, the new Torque media reactor, and a couple really nice goodies from D&D. So be sure and check the link in the description for that full video. So this is probably one of the most unexpected product developments I've seen here at InterZoo, but it's not from an unexpected company. So Aqua Lighter has been making some really interesting aquarium lights for a long time, but they've really pushed the envelope. The world's first wireless aquarium. So you imagine an aquarium without wires. So what that means is that these lights right here are actually unwired, and they're inductively coupled. And so there's, I guess, some kind of electromagnetic base here, and as you get closer to the source, it gets a little bit brighter. But even right here, they're running about 1 watt, so they have completely wireless LED lights. Really, really cool. So you see, like, when you turn them tangential to the magnetic field, they're actually kind of dim, and then when you make them flush, they're a lot more bright. So this is the 1 watt LED light. Obviously, these are prototypes, 3D printed, really cool. Probably this space is the coil. There's also a filter inside. And the filter also has an inductive charging coil, probably again another 2 or 3 watts to power this tank. But you know, this is a proof of concept. We're only getting 1 watt up at the top, but you know, if you're really committed, you could probably drive a lot more power to it and have a completely wireless aquarium. And you know, the magnetic field should not affect the animals inside the aquarium. So super cool to see this from Aqua Lighter. Again, it's a proof of concept, but you know, who knows where this technology is going to go in the next several years. So Reef is a company that we don't see nearly enough of in the West, particularly in America, because they make a lot of really finely machined aquarium devices. Their protein skimmers and calcium reactors and media reactors really should be used on a lot more tanks. But we definitely want to point out just a couple things that they're bringing to market. So these are the UCS 140 and the UCS 180, a couple heavy duty, just classic style calcium reactors. You see they have lathe, machined, turned grates right there, and a lid with all of your ports and inlets and outlets necessary for proper calcium reactor function, including a pH probe. The other side of this table is some really gorgeous looking protein skimmers. This is a UKD 250 and the UKD 200, and not only are these very finely machined, but they are among the first models to use by design the Sicce SDC water pumps, needle wheel water pumps, to get just incredible, crazy amount of foam. And as you can see, they've also got an inside-out air bubble plate diffuser. So the air-water mixture actually comes around the outside, and the water goes down the middle, really creating a gentle lift to the foam inside the protein skimmer. So I don't remember the price of the big one, but the small one, which should be more than enough for probably up to a 400-gallon tank, I think is about €1,000. And that, again, that's using Sicce's top-of-the-line controllable Wi-Fi needle wheel water pump. So really cool stuff from Reef, and this stuff cannot come to America soon enough. Focustronic is here in Germany for InterZoo, repping the brand, showing off some of their existing gear and some brand new gear. So this is the Focustronic for world's first swiveling LED light, and it's been barely a year and they've already taken it the next level. This is the Focus 2 Pro. So instead of being a swiveling spotlight, now it's actually really a full-blown Reef aquarium LED light fixture. Both of the LED clusters swivel both side to side, front to back, with this more or less the same spectrum as the previous spotlight. There's also some LED strips right here to help fill in the light inside the aquarium when the spotlights are pointed away from a particular area. So really cool all-in-one LED fixture with some really neat features. The Alcatronic is Focustronics' own take on the aquarium alkalinity monitor and controller. This thing has one of the sweetest designs we've actually seen in these standalone alkalinity controllers. It's got several different pumps for pulling samples, for removing the waste, for adding reagent, and a final channel for actually dosing into the aquarium. Really, really cool. So Royal Exclusiv was not the first company to come out with an automatic filter roll, but they definitely took their time developing a unique and wholesome, complete, holistic approach to the automatic filter roll. This is their first external fleece filters. We first saw them implement the technology in an all-in-one sump, really a hot rod sump right there. But if you're looking for an add-on automatic filter roll from Royal Exclusiv, they have 2 new models that have quite a lot of space for filter to clean the water, and they can be run either as an internal version like this one with the holes down in the bottom, or you can simply add some plumbing to make it an external version. You know that these are going to command a Royal Exclusiv premium, but the fit and finish on these is like nothing else. And one thing that's a little bit different from these guys is they have a kind of a delay timer here that can be programmed to create a delay when the float switch is activated and finely tune how much filter roll actually gets exposed every time that float switch is activated. So thanks for joining me for this tour of InterZoo 2018. I really hope you enjoyed the video. There's a lot of goodies to look forward to, and you know, for those who can make it to InterZoo in Germany, it's just such an awesome experience. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more international videos like this of reef tanks and events, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon so you never miss a video. And until next time, we'll catch you guys on the next video.